Alright, so I wanted the opening of this video to be, by the way, if you haven't checked out the patron server, you should do that in the description. Like, it's gonna be badass, and if you haven't joined that community yet, you should definitely consider that. It's gonna be fucking awesome. So, I wanted to introduce this video by flying over the Crayon Box, because that's what I want to work on today. Obviously, if you've seen the thumbnail, then you're not gonna be surprised by that. But the reason I wanted to have this opening clip showing Daniel and who else flew, and Chaser this is, as it turns out, not that many people know what Erritiguei's got going on over here. So let's hop into a creative world and explain a little closer. Alright, so we're all in a creative world. Let's pop over to the Crayon Box and explain. So, the Crayon Box was... Alright, let me back up. So, Erritiguei saw Mango's flying machine chorus fruit design, and for whatever reason, he saw a chorus fruit farm and figured that would look really, really awesome inside of a Crayon Box. I honestly don't know what gave him this idea, but we found a better design. This design is by Mytteri. It uses observers, and he found a way to give zero-tick pulses using observers. So if I can actually grab a chorus fruit, chorus flower here, I can demonstrate that this thing is incredibly fast. So if I just step on this pressure plate, I don't think this is working, in fact. I'm not really sure what's happening here. But when it is functional, it's something like 400,000 chorus fruit an hour. Like, it's really, really fast. So, we decided to go with this design. And basically, that's it. The Crayon Box has been built in survival for quite some time. In fact, I should probably show a clip right here.
Alright, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, there it goes. This is less spectacular than I thought. Oh, one of the corners failed, but that's okay. We can ignore it. Of us kind of pouring the water down, because at the time, we didn't even have the concrete generator. He built it out of powder and then set up a whole water thing to smoothen out all the concrete, and it looked really, really fantastic. And you can see it says Minerva on the lid. So, Erritiguei did this all on his own. I'm really actually quite proud of him. This looks super good. All the crayons are spawn proof. Everything's covered in carpet. Like, this thing is safe to build, and it's really, really cool. But he's only got, I believe, the facade built in survival mode. In fact, when he told me that he needed like yellow hardened clay, I produced more hardened clay in a few minutes than he needed for the entire build with that generator. It was pretty fantastic. So what we need to do basically is dig these holes in the survival world down to bedrock if they haven't been already, and then build up the farms themselves. As for getting chorus flowers, we do have a small manual farm that I think will be fairly okay, because we are going to need a lot of flowers to run this farm, and it doesn't produce flowers, so kind of a problem. It's kind of like making a sapling farm for a tree farm that doesn't produce enough saplings, but that's not really a problem for tree farms. Anyway, we do have 12 of these, by the way, so the idea was initially the slime block one, which was really, really slow, so it made sense to build more than one. However, with the new design over here, that's not really a relevant problem. However, we are still going to build 12 of them, because why not? And it also might be fun if we got 12 people on here producing 4.8 million chorus fruit an hour, because that should cover all of our per block needs. So yeah, that's about all the introduction this project needs. We're going to do most of this off camera, might not even stream today, and should be a pretty good time. Alright, so here's the state of things. Looks like this whole area has been built, or has been dug down to bedrock. And there is a little bit of a platform here to build, so it looks like me and Daniel should be able to just grab a schematic of the design and build it up. I don't think I ever mentioned that the design was by Mytteri. I'm sure I linked it at the top of the screen at the time. Link in the description below, obviously. It's a pretty solid design. Alright, so I've overlaid the schematic here of the design. This is a repeating pattern, so I am going to have to build it up further than shown here, but it looks like this will actually be pretty easy to build, given that the majority of the blocks in this design are observers and glass, and you also have this pillar of endstone in the middle. I will be able to build up the endstone and then just kind of place the pistons around me as I go up. If anything, this should be one of the easiest builds I've done in a while. And you can't really schematic a print a lot of this, because these glass colors will change with each crayon. In fact, the one I'm starting on here is the cyan crayon, so I'll probably be getting cyan glass and then surrounding the backside of this with cyan colors, or just yellow. I'm not really sure exactly if we're going to continue the box down or the crayon color down. I think the color would be best, it'll make this a really nice, colorful looking room, but we'll figure it out as we go. So I think a good start for me is I already crafted about two double chests, or about a double chest or so of observers, and then I might actually prep a lot of glass, because you can see this is like half a design, and we're still going to need about a shulker box plus 1,000 worth of glass. So I think I'm going to get on that and then just build this off camera. We might have had an accident at the slime farm. So we were going to decimate this thing in preparation for the new design. However, apparently they didn't get the memo that the stuff below the bedrock was the only part of the design that we actually intended to keep. So, yeah, that's being dealt with, but that's not my problem today. Well, my problem is that we don't have nearly enough glass for what we need to do, and I'm thinking, well, the only way to get the amount of glass we need is to use the 1280 furnace array. So, this thing hasn't been functional for a while now. Oh, okay, alright, my dad was recording, or listening to a voicemail, so I stopped, and when I started back talking again, he laughed so hard it made me stop. Where was I? So, this thing is not, and has not been functional for a while. It's definitely ready. It can be used. In fact, I think we even have, like, fuel in a lot of these furnaces, but the minecarts are just not aligned properly in some cases. Here it looks okay, but I think it was Chase. I don't think it was Chase. He wasn't whitelisted on the server yet. Somebody insisted that we had glass here instead of just the ender chest that I aligned them with, or the dragon eggs I believe I used. And they screwed up some of them, and other than that, there aren't minecarts up here to actually filter the items out of the furnaces. Otherwise, it should be ready, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and just cook up a lot of glass, because we have millions of sand, and this is the only thing fast enough to cook what I need. Now, I do want to make about a shulker box of each color type. I need 12 shulker boxes full of items. That's about 27 times 12 items. That's 270 plus 54. That's like 300 some stacks of items. So this thing should cook what I need in something like 2 or 3 minutes. That is a lot faster than using the one we have in the storage room. Well, I checked down below, and I probably should have started recording this down there, but I made a little platform. I think this is nice, actually. I don't know why, but, like, all you need is a sheet of spruce wood, and it's like, oh, this now looks slightly better. And I needed to be able to check all the minecarts, so I just gave myself a nice working platform. I started doing this a while back. Whenever you're working on projects where you keep ender pearling up and down, blah, 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 just take the time to build a platform. It'll be, like, a little bit of a time investment at first, but I assure you it will be worth it in the end. But as far as I could tell, all of these minecarts were splitting to all 4 hoppers, except for these back 2. I couldn't really check because there's a block inside of them. I'm just gonna assume that they're safe. So that should be good. And I also checked above. There's plenty of charcoal in the chest up above. So that dispenser is filled with shulker boxes full of charcoal. So all of the fuel carts are in place. Looks like all minecarts down here are accounted for. None of them are holding items that the furnaces can't cook. There is one minecart short here, I guess. I can do with that. But it looks like all I need to do is place the minecarts in, and this should be functional. So far, so good. So we're not actually cooking any items. I'm doing what I like to call a dry run, which Daniel thought was so funny, where I'm just testing this without any items. So basically I click the button, I'm letting it run out its 10 item clock here, and it's going. Also, as I completely forgot, it's spitting out a bunch of items, because as it turns out, these are filling up with charcoal, because we cooked a lot of wood through these systems, and I completely forgot that they were in there. So I'm going to go pick those up, but good. So this is actually good for 2 things. I'm seeing that the minecarts are flowing, as they should be, and it's also dispensing the items that I apparently already got. So, okay, this is great. This is really good to see. Next step, I should be able to throw in some sand, and we will be pumping out more glass than I'll need. Alright, so I found a bunch of wood over here. All of these shulker boxes were tested. They are just wood in here. Every once in a while at the Dark Oak farm, like, mob loot can come through because they like to get stuck on there. But I figured, why not just throw some wood in this system and see if it runs. Also, the thing turned off, so I might have waited too long. So let me just click that button, trigger it, and there we go. So what this actually does, if you guys don't know the system, this is a counter. So for each item in this dropper, it'll run an extra 10 times. that just gives it time to refuel all the furnaces in here and get everything nice and ready. But, if I'm not mistaken, that should already be the first wave of wood. So, there we go. Oh, this is so exciting. We built this thing months ago. And then we rebuilt it even, like, less, but more recent months ago. And now they're just in here. Look at that. Oh, that perfect recall time. It actually refills the items in the exact tick that it's done cooking, as to have never any backflow. Oh, if you guys haven't seen videos on this 1280 furnace rate, you should definitely check it out. We did a lot of good stuff on it. Look at that. The arrow just never stops moving. That is fantastic. And this should be bringing the items in and spitting them out. Right? No, is it not going to unload? Oh, that was anticlimactic. It's actually bouncing back. Okay, so when the items, when the minecart comes back, we'll All right, and now it's spitting them out. Perfect, just like that. We're getting all our items in return. This is fantastic. Oh, it's working. All right, so now that we got charcoal coming through here, I'm going to fill this up in shulker boxes with probably this system down here, and then we can use it for what am I saying here? For sand. Perfect, and then we'll have lots of glass, and then I can, get back to the crayon box. Guys, I think I know why the server's lagging.
Why?
You randomly left a couple thousand items on the ground.
Whoever set up this item stream, did not account for something.
Items?
Don't make it so tense.
So as it turns out, when you align items on half of a block, you can't place a full block for the rest of the stream, because they will get stuck and not make their way into hoppers.